Hey friends, before we started this trip, we thought our van setup was good enough, and honestly, for the most part, it was. But after weeks on the road, living in this space every single day, we started noticing small things, choices that seemed fine at first, but slowly became uncomfortable, inefficient, or unnecessaries. So in this video, we want to share 7 things we would do differently in our van build, not because they were big mistakes, but because real van life teaches you things no build video ever can. As beginners like us, we make mistakes, and that's completely okay, as long as they don't cause us abandoning the trip or creating more serious problems. And especially the last one is the most serious issue we faced on the road, so make sure you stay with us until the end. Welcome back to Camp My Minivan. The first thing we want to talk about is the insulated window covers we were using. These were a very simple and easy setup. The tutorial is easy to find on many van build channels and videos on YouTube, and we basically follow the instructions step by step. We first used the craft paper to measure all the windows, including the 6 on the side and 1 big window at the back of the car. For the front windshield, we decided to use a different and simpler setup, which actually turned out better than the handmade ones. We measured the main 3 windows and then cut the bubble insulation roll to size. We bought a large roll so we could customize each piece properly. After cutting, we sealed the edges with tape to create a sharp and strong edge so it could slide tightly and easily into the window frame. Everything was perfect at first, but after a few days, we noticed that the heat during the day and the cold at night caused the insulation covers to shrink slightly. They became smaller and smaller and started exposing parts of the windows. So if we do this again, which we definitely will for our next trip, we would make each piece about 2 centimeters bigger than the actual window sizes. So even when it shrinks, it still fully covers the glasses. Overall, the roll-up insulated cover solution was actually very nice. The second thing we would change for our next trip is the solar power system and the battery setup. We mentioned this earlier in our van life series. The Blue T 1800 watt battery is one of the simplest solutions for beginners, especially if you plan short trips or to stay at campgrounds with electricity. However, if you want to do more off-grid van life trips, the battery really needs to be paired with rooftop solar panels to recharge more efficiently. We received a comment on our channel asking whether it's possible to work full-time on a laptop for 3 days using this setup and what the ideal setup would be. Honestly, on days when we need to work, attend meetings, or be on calls, we usually choose the safer option and plug into electricity. On other days, we're totally fine staying in public parking lots or unserviced campgrounds because we were mostly using powerful fans, phones, and a few hours stalling at night. In our case, the portable solar panel gives us around 130 to 150 watts per hour on sunny summer days, especially between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. On a good day, that usually refills about 40% to 50% of the Blue T battery. If you want to work 2 full days without stressing about the power, it's much easier to plan those work days at a campground with shore power. The third thing we would definitely change is the kitchen water pump. We chose a very simple, beginner-friendly option that cost only about $10, and to be honest, it was extremely easy to install. However, because the water pressure was low, we had to use it very deliberately to avoid water spilling out of the sink. Since we cooked a lot and washed dishes quite often, this setup became a little bit inconvenient for daily use. For our next trip, upgrading into a stronger pump and a higher one that allows more comfortable water flow is something we would absolutely do. The fourth thing is something that might be very useful for others, but not really for us. The solar heated water pipe on the roof. We used it maybe twice, not because we really needed it, but more because we had already built it, so we wanted to make use of it. The moment we were on the road, we quickly realized that Canada has a lot of lakes and very easy access to water. On top of that, we could always shower at national parks or private campgrounds with clean and hot water. So the pipe itself wasn't the only thing that felt unnecessary, but also everything that came with it. The whole system, including the second-hand electric pump, the curtain, the 2 aluminum bars we used to hang the curtain. This setup might make sense if you're planning to go completely off-grid and don't expect to access the water for several days, but for our type of travel, it wasn't really needed. The fifth thing we would definitely upgrade next time is the mattress thickness. We went very budget on this by buying secondhand mattress foam for only $10, then cutting it into 4 different pieces to fit our bed panels. The current thickness of the mattress is about 10 centimeters. It works, but it's a bit too soft for long-term travel or full-time van life. It can start hurting your back. So for our next build, we would recommend going a little bit thicker, even if it's bulkier. Sleep is one of the most important parts of van life, and prioritizing it makes a huge difference in how good the trip feels overall. The sixth thing was actually the worst experience of our entire trip, and it had nothing to do with the bill: mosquitoes. They caused us a few completely sleepless nights. We couldn't fully enjoy the breezy evenings by the lake without worrying they would get inside the van and keep us awake all night. This was honestly one of the most frustrating parts of the trip and definitely needs better solution. If you plan to park in the forest or national parks and open your doors often, take this seriously. A lot of them, thousands of them, and once they're inside, it becomes extremely hard to sleep. The last thing isn't really a build mistake, but a serious problem we faced on the road. The left strut of our van certainly broke. When we thought about it, we realized part of the reason was that most of our build weight was on the left side of the van, while the right side was mostly empty. Looking back, we would strongly recommend checking weight distribution and alignment before starting a long trip. This issue cost us a night in Ottawa, a few $100s, and one very hot night sleeping in a parking lot. These are not necessarily mistakes, but they are lessons that will definitely improve our van life experience for future trips. We wanted to share them so you can skip the errors or choose better options from the beginning. It's currently winter and Christmas time here in Canada. Hopefully we can make another video in early summer showing all the upgrades before we head north toward the Arctic Ocean. Thank you so much for supporting and watching our van build and van life stories. We'll continue sharing the places we explore from west to east across Canada. And we'll see you in another adventure at Camp My Minivan.